It's a pleasure and a privilege to have you meet here with us today. Senator's been here to see us a couple times in the last month. She was kind of doing a recon the first time, I think, but she invited all of you to come and be a part of the meeting here today, and we're very honored by that. Representative Rice, welcome as well. Legislators, thank you for just being here and being partners with us. We have a slogan in our school system that we just do things better when we do it together. And when we can work together and plan together, I think we can serve our kids much better together. As it has been mentioned already, Springdale is a large district. We will serve just over 22,000 kids this year. And I would tell you it's a privilege to serve each and every one of them. I would also like to welcome and invite our partners in education. And in my comments this morning, I hope you'll hear that over and over again. What we do here, we learn together, we plan together, and it's our hope that if we can create models of excellence, those models can transfer anywhere in our state and beyond. We're in the kid business. So we just want to figure out the way to do it the best we can. And as Senator English said just a moment ago, this idea of creating a world-class school system in our state is very much in our grasp. We have the opportunity to do that. I can assure you we have the talent level to do that with some of the finest teachers imaginable, and we're growing and developing the capacity of those teams all along the way. So, in my opinion, and I might give this qualification, for those who are well prepared, the future will be very bright in education in Arkansas. And we're all very, very appreciative and privileged to be a part of that. I want to recognize some other very important partners in education here in the room today. President Jorgensen and the staff from the Community College, Evelyn, we're so glad to have you. President Blake Robertson and the staff from the Northwest Technical Institute. Blake, welcome aboard. Blake's kind of he's still a newcomer, isn't he, guys? We can still count that, but we're so glad to have you here.
But I love it.
It's a great place, isn't it?
It is.
Mr. Webb, our president of the Springdale Chamber of Commerce, and Ted Abernathy, who's been working with career and technical capacity building in the area, will be with us. And Mike Harvey is here with the Northwest Council. Mike, and I know these folks will address you just a little later. But the key term is partners. We do our work together. And I think as a result, we're in a great position to serve our kids. And I do think we're making progress. There's always more to be done. But I think a very positive trajectory has been established in Springdale, but I think across the region and, in my opinion, across the state. And I thank you as legislators from all parts of the state for the role that you've played in that. I'll make this statement, and I believe it with all my heart. And, you know, I teach at the university from time to time, so I expect everybody to be taking notes now. Y'all are ready. Senator, you ready? And I want you to think about this, because as legislators, you have an opportunity to touch every aspect of schooling in the state. Here's the quote: "Whatever excellence exists in a school district begins and ends with a school board." It's the school board that connects our teachers and administrators to the community. And then in tandem, we serve our kids together. I've been privileged to work in the Springdale system for quite a while. And I can tell you without equivocation that we've had some of the finest school board members imaginable, and we have that today. And I want to introduce our president, Mr. Mike Luttrell. We have with us Michelle Cook, Mr. Jeff Williams is here, and I may have some other board members joining us. Please thank these board members for the service that they give to our school system. When you've been a part of a school system for a while, you have an opportunity to bring great teams together, and then they complete their career, and you have an opportunity to start again. Senator, I want to take just a moment to introduce my team, because they are phenomenal. And many of you know them Some of you worked with a couple of them just in the last year, or certainly the last couple of years. Dr. Jared Cleveland is my Deputy Superintendent for Personnel. Jared. Dr. Gary Compton is in and out. He's trying to get our facilities ready, but he'll be here today, and I hope you can say hi to him. Dr. Tamika Brown is a new member of our team who will lead our secondary instructional program. Mr. Kelly Hayes is our business officer. Kelly, where are you?
Right here, sir.
Kelly, thank you. He keeps us lively, and we have a good time. I tell everybody he was the 10th, by my estimate, best comedian in the state as of about a week ago, but some of his jokes have been a little off color. He's now 11th. So, Kelly, thanks for all you do. He's really a great financial leader in our district. Mr. Clay Hendricks is our Associate Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction. Clay, welcome. Dr. Kathy Morledge is our Assistant Superintendent for our elementary programming, and Dr. Megan Witonsky is in charge of innovation and technology and so many other wonderful things. We're so glad to have them. Megan and Jared were both assistant commissioners just in the last year or so with the state, and we're really pleased to have them here. In my comments today, and I can get lengthy, Senator, so you may need to use that gavel.
I can do that.
But I have asked because I believe that we're interested in bringing forward a well-prepared workforce, for one thing. We want our graduates to be career-ready. We want them to be college-ready. There's a new term that I hope you'll write down today. I think the legislators have already recognized the power of this, but we are working as diligently, I think, as this team knows how today. We'll do better tomorrow, I can assure you, but our graduates need to be innovation ready as well. Career ready, college ready, innovation ready. And I would tell you again, that's all very doable. It's very doable in a culture where professional people and people who care deeply about our kids and the future of our communities and state, when they work together, I assure you it's very doable. So I'm going to ask Mr. Joenks, our high school principal, in a few minutes to talk about this CTE program. In our district today, we employ 72 plus teachers. As we grow, we seemingly add a new teacher by the minute sometimes, but we have a very diverse career and technical education program. It's been a mainstream focus of this school district over the years, and it continues to grow and deepen in terms of the scope and quality of that work. Mr. Joe Rollins is the CTE coordinator for the district, and he's also the principal of our new School of Innovation. And I'm going to ask Joe to talk with the group about CTE as well, and then transition to the School of Innovation. And then lastly, Mr. Clay Hendricks, whom I just introduced as our Associate Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, will give you just a snapshot, an elevator speech of the programs that are a part of the Race to the Top grant. Our district was very fortunate during the past year. And I say very fortunate because it's an extension of about 100 years' work in this district of putting our kids first and developing programs that best serve the needs of all children. And a grant was written to the U.S. Department of Education. There were 214 applicants, as I understand the process. 5 were eventually selected. The Springdale School District was one of those 5. And as the U.S. Department of Education reports to us, every one of the 214 grants were evaluated, and you can imagine with the amount of resources on the table, they were evaluated in depth. The Springdale grant was the #1 grant in the nation. And we're all very proud of that, and I hope the legislators in this room are very proud of that as well, because you've been a part of that as well over time. When you hear the report today, you very likely will not hear anything new. What you will hear is the work that's gone on, that has been put in place, that's been tried and tested. And the department had enormous confidence in that, and they wanted to see it deepened and extended so, Senator, it could transfer. Transfer to other schools in Arkansas, transfer to other schools in the United States. So during my comment session today, we'll talk about those things. It too has been our goal. It's been our spoken goal. This school board evaluates this process on a regular basis to create a world-class school system in this school district. And I think we're making some good progress toward accomplishing that goal. At the heart of that work, what's been our guiding premise is teach them all. All means all. Teach all children to high levels of learning. Have we got that done yet? There's plenty of work, there's plenty of growth to be done. But we've made some enormous progress, and progress I think that perhaps everyone would have an interest in. We start with 3 essential questions. 22,000 kids. I want to know today who's not learning. I want to know today why not. I want to know today what's our best thinking in terms of what we can do together to address the needs of those children so they can be successful. So those are guiding premises in our school district. When I say we, the people at the heart of that work are our great teachers. We have 1,500 plus teachers. 65% of those teachers have advanced degrees. They choose to serve in the Springdale School District, and they're looking every day in a passionate way how to serve our kids at a higher level. So we use what's termed in the literature as professional learning communities. That model, what all that really means is that we plan and structure our school days, our school weeks, our school year in such a way that our teachers can talk together about what matters most, and that is how we go about our work, how we deliver instruction. When we do things well and our kids achieve at a high level, we celebrate. When we miss the mark, when we come up short, we regroup. We look at the instructional delivery that produced those results. And nobody's threatened, nobody's intimidated. We just learn from that experience and talk together collaboratively how we can bring a better plan of action forward next time. You ought to write this down, because when you have conversations with educators, I think you can talk about it. Collaboration, meaning working together, trumps isolation every time. In our school district, we work together. Board, superintendent, principals, teachers, moms and dads, business leaders. If there's a secret sauce in the work that goes on in the Springdale School District, it's that very fact. In the newspaper this morning, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, the newspaper invites me to write an article monthly, and there's a copy of that article. And I tried to thank the community for their work, their partnership that has allowed us to open schools successfully. But just as importantly, to identify those foundations, those things that brought us to where we are in terms of opening this school year now, and I identified some of the key things that our community together has contributed to make that happen. Our Chamber of Commerce, our mayor, our business leaders are partners with us every step of the way. In my comments about programming in just a moment, you're going to hear me address the way we've restructured, reorganized schools, and we're not at all shy to do that. The willingness to reorganize schools to better connect kids to the learning so they'll give a better effort is part and parcel of who we are as a community and what this culture has been able to spawn over time. So I want you to think about unity and creating conditions so that every community, every school has a structure by which they work together, plan together to serve kids. We have a very strong school community partnership program in place in this district. 150 plus businesses work to serve our 30 schools. And this service model is distributed in an equitable way. We don't have 15 partners over at one school and one partner at another. We try to balance that so that we have an opportunity to teach them all. A very important piece that's part of the growth of any great school system is when the teaching staff owns their student performance. That's not somebody else's problem. That's their problem. It's my problem. It's our problem together. When kids, like I said, perform at a high level, we're all elated about that. When we miss the mark, we regroup. But we don't push back and blame it on somebody else. Kids come to us in different shapes and sizes and different readiness levels, and it's our job to find out where they are in terms of their readiness to learn. And then here's the key term: personalize the way we do business in such a way that we can connect each and every child to the learning. It's the challenge of a lifetime. I don't know that one ever gets there, but what more lofty goal is there than to attempt to? This past year, we graduated more than 1,200 graduates from our 3 high schools: Springdale High School, HAR-BER High School, and our alternative high school, which again, this legislature has made possible for us to specialize and personalize instruction for children in the alternative setting who really need a tailored plan for them. Career and technical work and career awareness is a part of that mission all along the way. Across the lawn is our pre-K center. 8 years ago, we didn't have pre-K education in Springdale. By the end of this year, we'll have over 1,000 kids, 3- and 4-year-old children, served in pre-K. Legislators, in my opinion, that is one of the very best investments that we can make in our public schools in service to children. I asked one of our principals, who after a few years had a pre-K program, obviously had not had it prior to, can you tell the difference in the kids who've been through the pre-K initiative versus those who have not had it? Write this down. The difference in night and day. Those kids are oriented to school. They understand how school works. They understand how to use their text. Many are reading by the time they leave the pre-K experience, and they're ready to move on to their next level. The investment in pre-K is an investment that we cannot do enough of. $1,200 graduates. Those 1,200 graduates earned more than $20 million in scholarships offered this past year. To me, that is a great reflection of the academic preparation of our children. Many of you know a lot about the history of the districts, especially in the last decade or so. You know we have the largest immigrant population in the state. 36% of the Hispanic children in Arkansas are in the Springdale schools. We're privileged to have each and every one of them. Let me just, I told the senator this a few weeks ago. The first 5 years of that 15-year decade, or time period, the focus seemed to be on building an understanding with our immigrant population that, hey, you can graduate from high school, you can do whatever you choose to do. Just make school a priority. Let's work together. Let's get you prepared at the highest level. But getting the understanding across a growing immigrant community that high school is a reality was a big deal. The next 5 years, they knew that they could accomplish the high school diploma, and they began to look at really quality careers, or they began to look at continuing their education. And although even in those days, our immigrant population received scholarships from around the nation, really, by and large, those children in numbers went to our junior colleges. Northwest Community College, great partner, helped open doors for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, as has NTI and others, to continue this continued education by this group of kids. Now, what did I say? All means all. All means all. And I want to assure you, it makes not one bit of difference to the staff of the Springdale School District if a child came from across the street or across the ocean. When they get to our schoolhouse, they're one thing. They're our children. And we take it that way, we look at it that way, we serve these children at the highest possible level. These most recent 5 years, the pictures continue to grow and improve. Today, our immigrant population, their performance has come alongside our Caucasian kids. These children are going to some of the finest institutions in the country. I've told this story so many times. In the spring, one Thursday afternoon, I'm sitting in my office, and about 4 o'clock, the phone rings, and I have a call from a young Hispanic student at Springdale High School. And she says, Dr. Rollins, I have a letter. I want to come down and share it with you. And I was elated because I've known her progress, a wonderful human being, will have a great future in front of her. And she had a letter from the University of Arkansas, and that letter conveyed the Bodenhammer Scholarship to her, which is one of the most distinguished scholarships the university offers. So we had a great festive time, Pete. It was neat. So about the same time the next day, Friday afternoon, again about 4 o'clock or so, I get another phone call. Same young lady. She said, Dr. Rollins, I've got a second letter. I need to come down and share it with you. I said, come right on down. This time she shared a letter from MIT, a full scholarship to one of the finest engineering institutions in our country. I'll tell you that story because I guess it means so much to me personally, but I know what it means to the staff of the school district. But I think it's a great example of the progress that kids from all backgrounds can make when you surround them with a supportive environment and teachers who care and teachers who are willing to say, you can do this, I will help you. And they just choose not to let these kids back up. So those are just great examples. And I'll move on pretty quickly, but just some other indicators. We talked about the college going rate, or we talked about the scholarships earned. I want to come back to graduation rate for just a moment. Large school system, very diverse school system. Over the years, our graduation rates hovered normally between 80 and 85%. We have made significant progress in recent years. This past year, HAR-BER High School's graduation rate was 93% plus, and those numbers went up over the summer. Springdale High School's graduation rate was 87% plus, and those numbers too went up over the summer. This idea of graduating 90% plus of our graduates is within our grasp today, and now to extend it to 92 and 94 and 95 and beyond. Number of AP exams taken in our district this past year was 2,500. Our board members are very focused on, they've kind of coined the term big audacious goals. They want all of our kids reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade. They want all of our kids proficient in math by the end of 5th grade. And I've said to them, board, that's a great goal. That's a worthy goal. We've had that goal in front of us for about 30 years, but it's the right goal. And we're working it with renewed zeal and frankly improved learning every day. Okay. It has been our goal as a school district to become the leading science, technology, engineering, and math district in our state. That was an outgrowth too of our career and technical education programs. The AIMS initiative, both Springdale and HAR-BER, were a part of the first cohort, the first group of 10 schools to bring the Arkansas Advanced Initiative in Math and Science forward. That was a springboard to elevating our participation in AP programming across the spectrum, and it has led now over about a 4 or 5 year period of time to us doubling our AP participation. That's the right thing. One other quick story, and I hope you'll take note of this, because this transfers anywhere in the state. I'm at Springdale High School one Friday evening. It's 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm leaving another event, walking down the hall, and off to my right I hear this loud roar of laughter and kids having the greatest time in the world, and I think, gosh, I need some of that. I need to go find out what's going on. So I stick my head in the Architecture and Engineering Academy, and here's about 25 kids, and they're grouped together around a device that I'm not sure what is at that point in time. I found out later these kids are building a robot. They're building a robot that has practical applications for the workplace. They're going to enter that robot in competition at the state, and if they're successful, at the national level. So I begin to inquire. Obviously, learning's fun. These kids are connected to the learning. I visit with my principal, and he says, I said, these kids are up there Friday night. It's 9 o'clock, and they were there well after I left. And he says, Dr. Rollins, these kids are here every day after school. They're up here on Saturdays. They're up here on Sundays. They love what they're doing. It's meaningful to them. What an enormous message that was to a superintendent who's constantly, daily, trying to figure out ways to connect kids to the learning. So you can imagine what I did the next Monday. I bring my principals together from all the schools. I share this story. We begin to talk together collaboratively, that professional learning community approach. How can we get kids in elementary school and middle school and junior high and all of our high schools looking at examples like this? STEM education, career and technical education, where kids can see the application of their work. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just 2 or 3 years later. There are those kind of initiatives in each of our 30 schools today. That's an outgrowth of the work of great kids, committed teachers, and a building administrator who supported in that entire process. Our kids today are competing all over the country, and they're doing extremely well. As I make the transition to the career and technical piece with a little more definition, career and technical education has been, as I said, a mainstay in this district as long as I can remember. In the late 90s, the staff of this school district, led by counselors and teachers, brought together what was referred to as a career action planning model. We knew that kids were making decisions about what classes to take for a lot of reasons, and some of them probably not all that helpful in terms of their next step and what their futures could become. So we began to think together, plan together, and the CAP model was fashioned. The idea was to gather as much information as you can about the aptitude of every child. To share that in a very personal way, not in groups of one counselor to 450 kids, but in a personal way so that kids could begin to see for themselves, oh, I scored well in that area? Well, that might be of interest. Other critical parts of that plan were moms and dads, and getting moms and dads in a structured environment where they could sit at the table, be presented those results, and we could develop a program of study based on career aptitude information. Now, we need to continue to tweak and adjust that program. We do the Cooter exam at the 8th grade level. Is that right, guys? Well, my question to these two on about a daily basis, what do we do at the 9th grade level, and the 10th grade, and 11th grade, 12th grade level? Kids change. Somewhere, somebody did a body of research that said in every individual's life, they're probably going to change careers at least 7 times. I'm not sure, Senator, what the magic of that is. Maybe it's 8. Maybe next year it'll be 11. But the point is, we need good information about career aptitude for our children. Then we need to bring all the parties together who can influence those decision-making skills. So we've been doing that for a long time. Most of you in the room probably know about the Southern Region Education Board. The High Schools at Work initiative is made up of about 1,350 of the largest and finest high schools in the nation. SREB picked that CAP model up and propagated it across its High Schools at Work initiative, and it has become a model for the nation. Now, it's not perfect, and over the years things ebb and flow, and we lose a little zing, and we've got to come back to it constantly to get that done. But reorganizing school so the kids will give their best effort, getting kids in a career path where they can use their talents, and then how can we support that system by bringing maybe others of a similar interest together so we can specialize if they choose? It was that background that led to the development of our medical academy, our safety and law academy, our architecture and engineering academy, our information technology academy, our food science academy, construction management academy, and Culinary Arts Academy. Those are just some of the initiatives that we've had many years to work on and refine. I wish you'd write this down. When these models are developed, you can pick any one of them. In just a moment, I'll pick information technology. The business community in Springdale, in Northwest Arkansas, have been a part of every planning process that led to that academic development of that academic strand. I wish you'd write this down. When the business community and educators sit together and plan programs of study, what might you imagine? It's relevant, it's rigorous, it's right on target, it shows where the industry is as of today, and when those kids have that experience that's been developed in that collaborative fashion, many are career ready. They're certainly career aware, and the transition to becoming career ready is much more and more realistic with that kind of background. So whatever progress that we've made, I've acknowledged my school board, I've acknowledged our teachers and principals, and I've acknowledged our partners, and I've acknowledged our business leaders. It's that kind of unity, I think, that sets the stage for continued progress. Pete, I'm going to ask you to just take a moment. This is Mr. Pete Joenks, our principal at Springdale High School, and I want him to kind of come back and pick up on this CTE piece and talk about our partnership with HAR-BER.
Thank you, sir. We have the, while he's setting that up, my name is Pete Joenks, principal at Springdale High School. This is my 5th year as principal at Springdale High School. I'm a proud graduate of Springdale High School from 1983, which is a long time ago. And we're very proud of our school, and we call it our Red Dog family over there because I've got roughly about 2,200 plus students. Dr. Rollins always likes to ask me about exactly how many kids that is, and we have a good time with that. But I'm humbled and I'm honored to be in front of this group as principal of Springdale High School. If you just go to the next slide. As I said, we're about 2,250 students, grade 10 through 12. Go ahead and hit it again. Our demographics are 52% Hispanic, 37% of Caucasian, 8% Marshallese, and 3% African American, with a 66 free and reduced lunch status. So when Dr. Rollins talks about having a diverse school district with our challenges, Springdale High School shares those. 5 pocket academies, 19 advanced placement courses, and an international baccalaureate school, which time will not allow me to explain, but I think is one of the finest programs as far as college preparation we can give our kids. And then 22 career technical teachers. Now, that's roughly 15% of our school faculty. Now, I didn't teach at the University of Arkansas, so I can't ask you to write this down. But I want you to remember the 4 R's. Now, when I was in school, it was the 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic. I'm going to pose 4 R's to you: rigor, relevance, relationships, and readiness. Do we provide our kids rigor and relevance? Kids want to know, why are we doing this? They want to know what's its purpose. Relationships, we can talk for a long time about how people have job satisfaction if they have a relationship with the people they work with. And then finally, are they ready for that next level when they go into post-secondary work? We have these classes, and this is just over 70 CTE classes at Springdale High School. When I was in school back in the day, it was wood shop, metal shop. We used to call it, what now it's called Family Consumer Sciences. It used to be home ec. But nowhere have I seen the adaptation to what our kids need that in CTE work and workforce education. You can look up here and see some of these. Can you go back? There you go. Computer applications, civil engineering and architecture, advertising and design, robotics and 3D modeling, greenhouse management, child care management, culinary arts, medical professions, agriculture, food science. Ladies and gentlemen, I pose to you, these aren't the same CTE classes that I had when I went to high school. These are much more specific and much more rigorous and relevant to our students about what they want to get when they get out of high school. And we take the next level and created academies out of these. Dr. Rollins talked about this. These academies are teams of teachers with one CTE teacher who has experience in that career field. For example, we have a professional engineer that's in our Architecture and Engineering Academy. We have a law enforcement officer that comes and helps out with our law and public safety, and I recruited the, used to be the assistant prosecuting attorney for the Springdale, city of Springdale, to come help with our law and public safety class and do mock trials. Informational technology teachers who have been in the industry, agriculture and food science. I have teachers who have worked and have gotten degrees in ag and food science helping with that. These teachers sit down and they talk about what their kids need, and the most important thing about the whole part of it is that they build relationships outside of our school. They partner with industry outside of our school. They bring people in from J.B. Hunt, Walmart, Harps, Tyson. We have phenomenal relationships with Northwest Arkansas Community College and NTI. And they come in and say, this is what it looks like in the horizon for these kids when they go into work. How are you preparing them? We will help you. And I'll pose to you, ladies and gentlemen, that's the most powerful thing of the whole thing. Because we stay relevant and we have relationships with those in partnerships with our business community about it. Give you an example of this, we've already been asked to partner with J.B. Hunt over cybersecurity. They're concerned about cybersecurity with their computer systems. What an honor it was for them to come to Springdale High School and go to my informational technology teachers and say, we want you to help us with your kids to figure out what we need to do. There's a new business coming in for logistics in Lowell. They came to Springdale High School with our informational technology group. How can we find kids that will help us out to have careers later on? We'll pay their college. We'll pay for their training. We just need kids that are ready. We already have built relationships with Walmart and Tyson Foods with that. So it just gets better. Dr. Rollins talked about one of the things that caught this together was High Schools at Work in 1991. If you're not familiar with High Schools at Work, it basically is a group of individuals, a group of states that established the State Vocational Education Consortium in 1987. Go ahead. Research-proven strategies to help states transform their public high schools into places where all students learn at high levels. I pose to you this. It used to be when I was in school that you went into academics or you went into career and technical. That is no longer there. That is no longer there. The kids that are going to be successful in career and technical have got to have the same skills as those kids that are going to go into college. Because technology is muddying that water between the two. The program is based on belief that most students can master complex academic and technical concepts if schools create an environment that encourages students to make the effort to succeed. Please. 28 pilot sites in 13 states. And you can see it goes all the way from the District of Columbia to Arkansas, Mississippi, Indiana, New Jersey, New Mexico. All these different states are part of this High Schools at Work consortium. This group is part of a larger group that's a Southern Regional Education Board. It's a nonpartisan organization, and you can see that Arkansas is part of this with other southern states, Oklahoma, Georgia, South Carolina, Mississippi. And they allowed us to be partners with them through the state of Arkansas to help us be able to set standards. And if you go to the next one, 8048, it was created by the Southern governors and legislators. The organization maintains focus on critical issues that hold the promise of improving quality of life by advocating public education. Track record shows that setting goals and maintaining a commitment to work toward them can make a difference. Go ahead and hit the next one. These are the standards that make us push and what allow us to be able to have these programs we have. Adopt statewide readiness standards for literacy and mathematics skills students need to succeed in post-secondary study. You notice this doesn't say CT, career technical. This means all of our kids. Assess high school juniors to determine their progress in achieving the state readiness standards, and then hold us accountable and to increase the post-secondary readiness as an important criterion in school accountability systems. Those are the things that we have to provide to our students, because all 2,250 of those students are my kids. And I love every one of them. And I want to make sure that every one of them get out there and have good paying jobs and are productive in our community when they graduate. We were honored this past year to be able to get the Platinum High Achievement Award from SREB. This is a crowning achievement for my teachers and my students, because without that, This is the biggest award that SREB gives out to high schools. We had to, in order to get this, 85% of our seniors had to have career readiness goals. They had to complete the curriculum of 4 English, 4 math, 3 social studies, and 3 science. By the way, that is a standard criterion for graduation from Springdale School District. 85% of our seniors completed 1 academic career concentration, and 50 of our seniors completed the high school work assessment. And we had an AYP or graduating ratio of 85%. We are always striving to get better, getting better. Dr. Rollins lets us know that. We took what we started with high schools at work, where we went with our academies to build rigor, relevance, relationships, and readiness. And now we're taking the next step. And that next step you're going to find about is with Mr. Rollins, who's going to tell you about that School of Innovation. Thank you.
Just think again, career ready, college ready, innovation ready. This is a new arena, and we're very, very privileged to be a part of this process. Our state, through your work this past year, created the legislation that allowed schools of innovation to be developed, and we thank you for that. The state approved 11 proposals. 7 of those proposals are in the Springdale School District. And those lead to creating this new model of School of Innovation. So Joe is our principal of the school, and give us your perspective on how it works.
Again, good morning. It's a privilege to get to visit with you this morning. The way that our School of Innovation was created, we started with a simple question. Powerful question, one that, quite honestly, you probably get to work with every day. The question was, what if? What if we could better serve our students? What if we could put a more real-life spin on what their education looks like? What if they could graduate ready to be immediately impactful when they graduate from high school, meaning that they had workforce credentials showing their competency in certain areas? What if we could add enough college hours so that they could have their associate's degree in college in a meaningful field by the time that they graduate high school, meaning that they could either pursue a 4-year degree and beyond and start well ahead of the curve, or if they decided that their credentials, their 2-year degrees, that paved the way for where they wanted to go with their lives. Those were the questions we started with. I've got a short informational video. This was used as a tool to inform our students. That goes on to talk about parent meetings that we hosted, and it allowed for parents to go back and view that with their kids as many times as they wanted to. And the application process was online, so parents and students could work together, answer some information about themselves, their learning styles, their learning preferences, things that help us build a personalized student inventory for every one of our kids. So, Andy, if you don't mind, I'll take that with me. I tend to move around just a little bit, and that way I can flip that as we go. Just like with our academies, and I'm a proud former administrator at Springdale High School, also a graduate at Springdale High School, not quite as long ago as Mr. Joenks, but I am a product of Springdale, so it excites me to bring this to Springdale. It started with the same conversation about partnerships. I loved the personalized learning approach that the academies brought to the high school. It allows that real world spin to be put on coursework. It allows those CTE courses to come alive. Crossover, a lot of cross-curricular work, but probably the most important concept is something that we are going to add to our high school and really bring forward is the advisory component. The advisory component that was started with our academies, it pairs teachers and also industry and business level feet on the ground experience with our kids so that they understand where are the jobs, what skills do I need, what trainings do I need, what level of education do I need? That almighty important question. If I get into this field of work, what kind of living can I make for myself and for my family? All things that we wanted to include as we move forward, because the academies laid the foundation for the personalization of learning that we're trying to move forward with. So we are trying to meet the challenges of tomorrow with those partnerships that we have today. Our school has a STEM background. If you heard that on the video, there's a reason. In a workforce development study for our region, it showed that the growth opportunities in Springdale and our area are going to be in those STEM-related fields. So we wanted to pursue that focus. And I know that there are other schools that pursue that, but we're trying to put a very personalized approach to that STEM concept. In our area, we're showing that 47% of those bachelor's degrees in STEM pay better than advanced degrees without. Rationale for our focus. Our business and industries, just like every area around the state, they need that talented pipeline of workers, of future executives coming their way. And a large part of that is communication with our students, letting them know what's out there. That's a large part of our careers curriculum, is opening students' eyes to not only this content, but what is out there for me, what's out there for me in my future. Obviously, things that turn students' attention, they want to know. What kind of life can I live if I graduate with certain degrees? And obviously, the arrows draw you to where we'd like for our students to be. Our goal now is trying to get past high school credits. Now we're trying to get to immediately impactful upon graduation so that we can almost have the conversation about this is going to redevelop what communities can look like based on education. Why our school? Why the high school? These are things that students were exposed to during our informational meetings. Things that brought them to the door so that we could open their eyes to what education could look like at the secondary level. Accelerated learning plans. We have a waiver from our seat time, meaning that whenever we were in school, you had to be there from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. You spent X amount of time in each class. When the bell rang, it was time to go to something else. It works. It serves our students. But if we really want to explore what does the real world look like, there aren't too many bells out there in the real world to tell students when to go from math to, or from one issue to another. Our students have to know how they fit together. How do those initiatives fit together to help me in my occupation? This allows kids, if they are very strong in math or science, to move through that content at their speed. If they need a little bit more time, that's an option also. But no longer do they have the excuse, well, I'm bored. I'm sitting in the back of class. I have to wait on everybody to play catch up to where I am. Or the same conversation. I just need a little bit more time in this subject. All those are possibilities. One-to-one technology. Each of our students on day one were presented with a brand new Chromebook, a laptop. And it's not that technology will ever replace a great teacher, because it won't. But I can certainly equip great teachers with the technology that kids need to see so that they can be prepared when they graduate. It's useful. Our lessons, as teachers deliver those, are being recorded every day and posted to our website so that students can access those 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just think about this last year alone. Think about your own kids. How many are involved in band or choir or athletics or clubs or groups, things that pull them away from school? Sick days. We all know that we had a few snow days this last year. Just a few. We're 13 if you're in this district. What if you could have those days back? What if students could access their teacher from anywhere, anytime, see their face on screen, and interact with their class? Those are tools that we have. We're just simply putting those in the hands of teachers, putting those in the hands of students. The new classroom is going to be wherever students choose to make it, whether that's in their bedroom, whether that's in a coffee shop, whether that's in a library, whether that's on the back seat of a school bus heading to a basketball game or home from work. Accessibility. Student voice is huge. As we start talking about this new college-oriented education where students are going to have an early college experience and access to that, they need to have the voice, and this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And we talked about offering the Cooter exam at the 8th grade to grade baseline data. Does anybody here have a teenage son or daughter? Have any experience with teenagers? They tend to change their mind about every 10 minutes. We're going to offer that assessment on a regular basis. All that does is offer us more information about our kids. I would highly expect that the exam that our kids took this last week will change dramatically by the time they graduate, and that's fine. But it allows our teachers to understand how can we orient this subject matter so that you're interested, so that you're engaged, so that we can offer those workforce credentials, so that we can offer those 2-year degrees in specific pathways. Flexibility. We've talked about the schedule, but outside of the schedule, flexibility of assignments. Flexibility of grading practices. I wasn't the world's best test taker in school. Anybody here absolutely love to take a page full of multiple choice or true-false questions every day? Are there better ways for kids to show what they know? Another what-if question: what if we could offer flexibility of student assignments, student grading? If you gave me the option to write a report or to create a project or to work in a group and still reflect every bit of that knowledge that I've learned through the lesson, and probably do that in a much more creative way to me, you get a lot more information from that than from a page that a student can simply walk down the sheet and either circle in a bubble for true or false. Simple example, but you understand what I'm saying. Advisory. We've talked about the community partnerships, and our foundation started with that meeting. We had representation here from our local universities, colleges, our trade schools and tech schools, our business community, and beyond. And they're still there every day. They're helping us, again, identify where are the career futures. What do we need to do to help our kids be successful when they graduate? So that advisory model branches out even from what our academies offer the foundation for. Every student at our school will have a School of Innovation advisor. Somebody that knows that student for 5 years. I can go back to my own college experience. My college advisor didn't know who I was. I was somebody that they met with to make sure that I had my classes signed up. Probably not all that beneficial to me at the time, and I know that's improved and changed. You offer somebody that knows that student for 5 years, knows every class that they've taken, understands that personal inventory for their students. That's a meaningful relationship. Now, as they get into their secondary years, start taking concurrent coursework, advisors from Northwest Community College and NTI will be right there to help advise their process in terms of what classes do you need to take to get this degree by the time you graduate. Once we get to our senior year, every one of our students is going to serve in an internship out in their field of study. Real world experience, feet on the ground. Now, why would we want to offer that? We've gotten past the early college experience where a lot of kids get frustrated and lost. Now we're taking advantage of that gap between graduation and employment. If they've already got the feet on the ground experience, they know the people in that industry, and they've served in an internship, they can answer one of two questions. Is this what I want to do with my life? Or probably even more important, is this not what I want to do with my life? They already know the people in the industry, they know the way that the industry works. Ought to make a transition into the business world that much smoother. That's our goal. So we're offering, again, multiple pathways for students to be engaged, multiple ways for them to show their competency, multiple ways for them to be successful. By the time they graduate, our students are going to have that high school diploma. They'll have as many workforce credentials as they can pursue, and that associate's degree in more than a dozen different fields in a heavy field of STEM-oriented focus. Yes, sir.
As the legislators visit the school this afternoon, you'll have an opportunity to show them firsthand the elements of the School of Innovation. Y'all recognize his work. He's helped us open a school that's really very, very special. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I know our time has been extended here this morning. Clay, as we travel, I'm going to ask you to talk with our legislators, kind of give them an overview of Race to the Top. Senator, thank you for letting us tell a portion of the Springdale story here this morning. And I know we have great partners who want to share their experience as well. Thank you all, and we're very glad to have you at Springdale.